Sabi kong go. 1, 2, go. Kumusta kaibigan? Isang mapagpalang araw sa iyo and welcome back to a brand new episode of David Tries to Teach. Before we start, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Last episode, we talked about motor skills. Motor skills are activities that require voluntary control over movement of body joints and segments to achieve a goal. And for this episode, we will try to discuss a classification system called one-dimension classification systems. Nabubulol pa rin. This system is used to classify motor skills, and we do that by determining which skill characteristics are similar to those of other skills. Bali, ang gagawin, we categorize skills according to one common characteristic. In our daily lives, we use our body to do different chores and activities. And I guess it is better for us to have a deeper understanding on how our bodies work. Parang sa phone lang yan. Mas maganda na alam natin kung paano gumagana at ginagamit ang isang phone para magamit natin to its fullest potential. At ang una doon ay ang size of primary musculature required. Bale, ang concern dito ay ang size of primary muscle group na ginagamit or required to perform a skill. There are two ends of this continuum, and the first end is the gross motor skills, whereas the primary musculature required is large muscle. So, when you're using large amount of your body muscles to perform the skill, it is in this part of the continuum. Few examples of this are walking, jumping, and galloping. On the contrary, we have fine motor skills, whereas the primary musculature required is small muscles. Pasensya na nga pala kung may mga tumatahol na aso. Hindi ko na kayang kontrolin yun eh. These motor skills are usually stationary or non-locomotive and requires precision, like writing your name on a piece of paper or typing a word on a keyboard. And we often do this when we use our phones, especially when we play games. But actually, there's a combination. When we use large muscle but also need precision. Parang kapag yung mga nanay natin kapag nagigalit at binabato tayo ng tsinelas. Ginagamitan ng large muscle pero kailangan pa rin ng precision para masapol tayo sa muka. Hindi ka pa maghuhugas ng plato ha. So that is the first one-dimension classification system. Let's move on with the second one, which is the specificity of where the actions begin and end. The first end of this continuum is continuous motor skills. From its name, it must be continuous or repetitive in order to achieve the action goal. For example, pagkontrol ng manibela, paglangoy, o pagtakbo. Kailangan patuloy o paulit-ulit mong gagawin yung action para ma-achieve mo yung goal. And on the other hand, we have discrete motor skills, whereas there is a specified beginning and end of the action, meaning the goal can be achieved through one movement. Just like flipping the light switch or kapag pinindot natin yung Netflix app sa ating mga phones. Dahil pagkapindot natin ng isa, wala nang tayuan yon, hindi natitigil, dire-diretso na hanggang madaling araw. So, discrete, one movement, na-achieve mo na yung goal mo. Ma-addict sa K-drama. Okay? Gets ba? Good. And again, there is a midpoint of the two, and it's called serial motor skills. Whereas, there is a continuous series of discrete movements. For example, kapag nakikipagtalo o nakikipag-away tayo sa chat, continuous yung discrete movement ng pagtatype sa ating mga phone, complete with rage and all sorts of emotions. So in short, these movements are discrete motor skills, but it must be done in a continuous manner for it to achieve the desired goal. Gets? We are down to the last one, and it's called the stability of the environmental context. The first end of this continuum is the open motor skills. In here, the supporting surface, objects, and or other people are in motion. And we can characterize a motor skill to be an open motor skill if there are movements in the environment that may affect the action. For example, driving a car or walking on a crowded sidewalk, because there are moving entities while you perform the action that might affect performing the action. Gets? Good. And the other end is the closed motor skill. Unlike the open motor skill, all entities that might affect your action are stationary. As long as walang gumagalaw sa environment kung saan mo pina-perform yung action, dito yun under. Parang kapag nag-workout ka, na ginagawa mo ba talaga? So, kung nagpo-push up ka mag-isa sa iyong sala, yun ay close motor skill dahil walang furniture na gumagalaw sa iyong paligid o walang ibang taong naglalakad-lakad. Unless may ibang entities tayong hindi nakikita kundi nararamdaman lang. So, those are the 3 one-dimension classification systems. Again, kung hindi ka PE major or PE teacher, these things might bore you. Pero I tell you na hindi lang ito ginagamit sa field of physical education or sports. Ginagamit din to sa iba't ibang mga field like occupational therapy and physical therapy. At pati sa mga pulis at sundalo dun sa mga training nila and all that. And again, hindi naman masama na mas maunawaan mo kung paano nagpa-function and paano nagwo-work ang iyong body. Una, para ito'y maalagaan mo, at pangalawa, para magamit mo ang iyong katawan to its fullest potential. So, before we end this video, let's have a quick review. Gross motor skill uses large muscles. Fine motor skills uses small muscles. Continuous motor skills are repetitive movements, and discrete motor skills are one movement. At kapag pinagsama, anong tawag? Serial motor skills, kung saan merong continuous series of discrete movements. At ang huling dalawa, ang open at close motor skills, kung saan sa open, gumagalaw ang mga nasa paligid at sa close naman ay stationary lang. And again, kung meron kang assignment about this one, ay sana natulungan kita. Pero kung isa kang PE major or PE teacher, importanteng alam natin to for us to assess our students. Pero isa lang to sa maraming classification system. Dahil marami pang iba katulad ng Gentiles 2-dimension classification system. Taksot. Basta iyon, hindi ko magawang maipaliwanag o maituro o ma-explain sa inyo dahil ako rin mismo ay medyo nalilito. Pero I hope natulungan ko kayo maunawaan kung ano ang one-dimension classification systems. So, that has been the 3rd episode of David Tries to Teach. Remember that you can always learn something new every day. And also, please sama-sama tayong magtulong-tulong para iwasan ang pagkalat ng virus ito. Please, lagi kang mag-ingat at wag mong kalimutan magdasal. Bye!